Hello everyone, back again with movie and tune recap. Today, I'm going to explain an American supernatural horror film from 2025, titled Mother of Flies. Spoilers ahead, so watch out and take care. The film opens in a forest with a woman's voiceover reflecting on the beauty of death, and a naked woman covered in blood is shown performing a ritual in the woods. The scene then shifts to a cabin window swarmed with flies, and inside, the same woman appears to be conducting another ritual, which is interrupted by a knock at the door. The story then introduces the protagonist, Mickey, a college student playing the piano. A fellow student approaches her and asks if she will be attending a house party, but Mickey declines and briefly explains her reason. Concerned, the colleague asks if it has returned, but Mickey assures her that she is fine. They say their goodbyes as the semester comes to an end, and later, Mickey receives a call from her father. It is revealed that Mickey is suffering from a terminal illness, and after unsuccessful cancer treatments, she has only a few months left to live. She convinces her widowed father, Jake, to accompany her to a remote forest to meet a woman she believes to be a witch, someone she has only seen in her dreams. The witch is revealed to be the same woman shown at the beginning of the film. The woman is later seen sitting in a clearing before walking deeper into the woods, where she comes across a dead deer covered in flies. She raises her hands over the animal as if performing a ritual but is interrupted by the sound of crying in the distance. Meanwhile, Jake and Mickey stop at a local diner for a meal. Jake questions how she knows about the witch, but before she can respond, a waitress approaches to take their order and asks why they are in town, and Jake answers her. That night, they stay at a motel, and sitting outside together, they talk about Mickey's late mother and share memories from the past. Eventually, Mickey goes inside to sleep while Jake remains outside, and just then, his attention is drawn to the sound of a crying baby coming from the woods, accompanied by the buzzing of a fly nearby. Elsewhere in the forest, the witch stands motionless, and suddenly, dozens of flies begin to pour from her mouth. Later that night, Mickey wakes up and sees something strange on the wall, but it is revealed to be a nightmare. The next day, she and Jake prepare to continue their journey to meet the witch, and on the way, Jake asks Mickey how she knows about the woman. Although she has never met her in real life, Mickey remains certain and even directs her father to the witch's cabin. After driving for some time, they arrive at a secluded cabin deep in the woods, where they notice piles of stacked rocks nearby. They meet the witch, who introduces herself as Solveig. She welcomes them into her cabin, a tree-built structure without running water. Inside, they notice a dead butterfly, and Solveig shows them the rooms where they will be staying. Mickey is given a room with a bed decorated with moss, and Solveig then shows Jake his room. She is displeased that Jake has accompanied Mickey and warns him that his presence will make things more difficult, but Jake responds that he is here because it is important to his daughter. A flashback reveals a heavily pregnant woman brought to Solveig for help after her baby is stillborn. Using a branch of a small tree, Solveig cuts open the woman's stomach and removes the lifeless child, though the mother survived. Solveig holds the baby's corpse with a smile, but an elder, disturbed by her behavior, takes the baby from her and places it in a basket. In the present, Solveig leads Mickey and Jake into the woods. Although she appears to practice holistic medicine, she is in fact engaging in dark rituals. She promises that she can cure Mickey through a 3-day ritual at no cost. After speaking privately with Mickey for a while, Solveig takes her to a specific location near a tree, while Jake watches from a distance. There, Solveig gives Mickey a ring, explaining that it symbolizes union, 2 circles, 1 soul, bound at the threshold between life and death, where one ends and the other begins. Solveig raises her hands and begins whispering inaudible words, and when she finishes, she leads Mickey and Jake back to the cabin. Disturbed by what he has witnessed, Jake tells Mickey that he finds Solveig strange. He suggests that they leave and seek help from other doctors. However, Mickey reminds him that they have already tried everything, and nothing has worked. Desperate for a solution, she insists on completing the 3-day ritual, believing that Solveig may be able to help her, and Jake ultimately agrees to support her. Back at the cabin, Solveig serves them mushrooms and berries, and asks if they would like to say a blessing, but both decline. Taking it upon herself, Solveig offers a blessing and pierces her finger with the tree branch, performing a blood ritual over the food. When she finishes, Jake says amen, and Solveig reacts sharply and forces him to spit on the floor to renounce the word. She then asks them to eat. Although Jake is reluctant, he does so for Mickey's sake. To their shock, Solveig picks up a dead butterfly and eats it. She then asks Mickey to place her hands on her injury and tells both Mickey and Jake to close their eyes, and as they do, Mickey experiences a vision. Later that evening, Solveig is seen in the forest performing a ritual over a dead animal, and unexpectedly, she suddenly flees the scene. That night, Jake joins Mickey, and they talk about the chemotherapy clinic where she previously sought treatment. In the past, Mickey didn't believe in prayer and faith, however, now she says she feels she must believe in Solveig and trust that she can help her. Later that night, Mickey wakes up in the forest, lying on her bed, and begins wandering deeper into the woods. At a clearing, she sees Solveig naked, covered in blood, and writhing in the tall grass, but the scene turns out to be a vision. In a flashback following the stillbirth, Solveig and others hold a funeral for the baby. After everyone leaves, Solveig remains behind, digs up the grave, and retrieves the baby's corpse before walking away. Somehow, the baby comes back to life, and as Solveig happily holds the child, she is suddenly attacked by masked individuals, one of whom is the baby's mother, who takes the child away. In the present, Solveig ventures into the forest, where she retrieves a snake egg and scrapes a strange substance from a tree. Back at the treehouse, she approaches Jake and offers him strong tea, when Jake asks if she has black coffee. Suggesting that he needs his own cure for anger, sadness, and loneliness, Solveig prepares tea made from hemlock root on their second day together. Mickey soon joins them, and when Jake invites her to have some tea, Solveig refuses to let her drink it, saying she will eat in the woods instead. Solveig and Mickey then walk into the forest, and Mickey asks Solveig if she has dosed her father, but Solveig replies that she only helped him open his mind. Left alone in the treehouse, Jake begins to feel nauseous from the tea and starts violently vomiting blood. As he collapses to the floor, he sees a vision of a woman's shriveled corpse outside. Meanwhile, Solveig leads Mickey deeper into the forest to perform another ritual. She draws a circle on a rock and has Mickey lie face down on it. Solveig instructs her to close her eyes and sing a song from her childhood, and as Mickey sings, Solveig slices her own hand with a knife. As her blood drips, Mickey's stomach painfully tears open in a gruesome wound. When they return from the forest, they find Jake sitting on a pile of rocks outside the treehouse. He questions Solveig about what she put in the tea, but she simply replies, "Zip." Jake is horrified when he notices the wound on Mickey's stomach, but Solveig insists it is a good thing. She reminds him of the pain Mickey endured while they were searching for a cure for her illness and says this will be no different. She then chews something and feeds it to Mickey before walking away. Suspecting that Solveig is a fraud, Jake asks Mickey if she has noticed how Solveig is always surrounded by flies, but his comment only angers Mickey. Later, Jake and Mickey are seen walking through the forest together, talking as they go. Elsewhere in another part of the woods, Solveig wears a strange mask and performs a ritual, crushing a bone that turns into maggots. That evening, Solveig serves Jake and Mickey a meat dish she claims is venison, then excuses herself to prepare for the next day's labor. Jake tells Mickey he finds it strange that Solveig never eats, yet he is constantly hungry. He also questions how she cooks, noting there is no running water or stove. However, this is the least of Mickey's concerns. In the woods, a decaying corpse is seen. That night, Jake wakes to strange noises outside the treehouse and goes to investigate. He finds a drunken couple throwing rocks at the tall cairn. He tells them to stop and accuses them of disrespecting Solveig, and the couple laughs, insults him, and drives away. The following morning, Solveig walks into the woods and enters a cave, crawling inside. She reaches a snake, lies down with her mouth open, and the snake crawls into it. On the third day, Solveig takes Mickey into the woods for another ritual, and unbeknownst to Mickey, Jake is left behind at the treehouse, entranced, with maggots writhing in his open mouth. On their way, Solveig notices a deer she had previously enchanted, now returned to life. Mickey asks why she is helping her, and Solveig responds that it is because Mickey asked her to, adding, "Your curse is my gift." She then asks Mickey to lie down, and using a small tree branch to entrance her, Solveig transfers a large snake, one she had swallowed earlier that morning, from her own throat into Mickey's. After returning home, Solveig goes to Jake's room and breaks him free from his trance. Concerned that his daughter's condition is worsening, Jake goes to see Mickey. He again accuses Solveig of offering false hope, insisting that he can no longer pretend to believe in what is happening. Frustrated that he is not taking the situation seriously, Mickey screams at Jake until he agrees to leave. Later, as her stomach wound pulses and she writhes in pain, Mickey experiences a strange vision. Suddenly overcome with fear, she runs out of the treehouse and into the woods, while Solveig watches her flee. As she searches through the forest, Solveig visibly grows annoyed. Eventually, she finds Mickey, renders her unconscious, and drags her back to the towering cairn. Meanwhile, Jake goes to a motel to book a room, where the subject of Solveig arises in conversation with the receptionist, Ruthie. Ruthie explains that Solveig is believed to be a necromancer capable of cheating death, even her own. In response to Jake's questions, Ruthie adds that for years, people have placed stones on Solveig's grave to keep her buried. This confuses Jake, as he believes Solveig is still alive, and Ruthie then recounts a local legend, shown through gradual flashbacks. According to the story, several hundred years ago, Solveig revived a stillborn baby and kept the child as her own. When the villagers, including the baby's mother, discovered the truth, they burned the undead infant, stoned Solveig, and buried her alive as she screamed for her child. Jake asks about Solveig's house, but Ruthie insists that no house exists near the grave, and alarmed, Jake immediately races back to the forest. While Mickey lies entranced atop the towering cairn, Solveig tells her that she came because Mickey heard her screams from beneath the earth, creating a pathway that allowed the witch to rise again. Pressing the small tree branch into Mickey's stomach wound, Solveig extracts a tumorous mass and shapes it into the form of a fetus as Mickey screams in pain. Solveig cradles the molded mass until it develops into a small baby, which is lifeless, and staring at it, Solveig lets out a scream. Meanwhile, Jake returns to the site of the former treehouse and finds Mickey collapsed on Solveig's burial cairn. Through tears, Mickey tells him that she took it, and when Mickey checks her stomach, the wound that had once been there is completely gone, and they embrace emotionally. That night, they exhume Solveig's grave and discover the skeleton of a woman cradling the skeleton of an infant, and they exchange knowing looks. Sometime later, Mickey and Jake visit an oncologist, who informs them that Mickey shows no signs of cancer, nor any evidence of radiation damage or chemical burns from chemotherapy. Astonished, the doctor says he cannot believe the test results, and declining further testing, Mickey responds, "We believe it," and Jake smirks as the film concludes. Okay guys, that's all the recap about Mother of Files from 2025. Thanks for watching, see you again in the next video.